Welcome back to this edition of Track of the Wolves with your voice of the Wolves. That's right, it's me again, Ben Root. Let's look back at last week's action for the Wolves, and well, last week more than ever, as they love to say around here, it's a great day to be a Wolf. It was a great week to be a Wolf because a lot of success on the playing surfaces last week, and we start on the gridiron last Saturday night, the only night game on the schedule this season for your Northern squad, as they brought in the Southwest Minnesota State Mustangs and walked away winners in that contest, as viewed at ESPN3 and the Watch ESPN app, and of course on the radio with yours truly at ESPN 1420 1071 and ESPNaberdeen.com. 51-35 your win for the Wolves, despite getting outgained in the game by 170 yards. You would think, how in the world did that happen, Ben? Are you lying to me? No. It was all about defense and special teams making the big plays in this contest, including some big plays by your NSIC Defensive Player of the Week, Channing Barber. Barber ended up with 2 interceptions, 1 taken back for 6, and a fumble recovery for a touchdown as well to go with 11 tackles total, second on the team in the game, and even ran back a kickoff all the way back to the 10-yard line that set up another easy score for the squad. Chad Stotterow ended up with 12 tackles in that victory as well for your NSIC preseason Defensive Player of the Year for the North as well. And on offense, a couple of touchdowns there, courtesy of Christian McIlvain, one via the legs, one via the arm. The one via the arm going to Connor Doherty, and also Nick Truan ran one in to end that contest. 51-35 again is the final from Saturday. As for the volleyball team, they had a successful trip down to Arkansas, walking away winners 4 times as they go 4-0. They picked up a sweep to start the event there against Arkansas Tech. Follow that up with an amazingly thrilling victory against Henderson State in 5 sets. Against the Henderson State squad, they lost the first 2 sets, both in extra points, including a 32-30 tough luck loss in set 2. Northern would come back, though, and win sets 3 and 4, go into a 5th set and fight off 3 match points before winning it in the 5th, 17-15. Against Henderson State, Northern would get a new school record with 73 set assists for Ashley Roselle, the redshirt freshman, snapping the record set just 2 years ago by the legend that is Drew Smith. Northern then had much more easy contests on Saturday there in Arkansas. Not to say that they were simple, but they did finish with straight set sweeps in those contests against Ouachita Baptist and Southern Arkansas. The team is 7-1 going into play here this week as they start NSIC action. Moving to the soccer pitch, the Northern ladies picked up 2 more wins this past week, and Anna Bondi just continues to pummel the soccer. I was going to say the football. I guess you could call it a football. Nonetheless, the soccer ball, she is putting it in net at an alarming rate right now. 4 goals and a victory over Jamestown last Wednesday, 7-1. And as they started conference play on Sunday, it was another victory, this time over Moorhead on the road. They beat the Dragons 4-0. Bondi this time with another hat trick. That's 3 straight games with at least 3 goals for Bondi, as they are now 3-0 on the season. One of those a conference game, like I mentioned, in Moorhead on Sunday. And in the cross-country realm, the runners were down in Madison this past week, taking part in the Herb Blakely Invite. Northern ladies were led by Dakota Bolin, who took the first place finish individually. Women ended up in first place as a team as well. And for the gentlemen, they took 3rd place as a squadron, and Clay Danielson, the top time, he finished in 8th place. That's a look at last week's action for your Northern Wolves athletic squadrons. We'll chat with a couple of football players coming up in a moment, right here on Tracking the Wolves.
Great team means you know your role and you work your role to the best of your ability. If you're consistently going to show up and be your best, you're going to be part of that team. You can see the success they have over time. It's not just 1 year flash in the pan. It's consistent success over time, which makes them great. And that's where the work ethic comes in. The ability to come into work, do the same thing repeatedly, day after day after day, and putting your best foot forward is going to separate you from the rest.
Choose the experts. Choose Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine.
Welcome back to Tracking the Wolves with Ben Root here, where we are talking football in this edition of Tracking the Wolves. And joining me here talking about a pretty phenomenal week that was at Northern State University out there at Swisher Field. Channing Barber had just an enormous contest and was named your NSIC Defensive Player of the Week. Thanks for coming on the show, Channing.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
A nice award here this week for just a very busy week for you last week on the gridiron with 2 picks, 2 touchdowns, fumble recovery, almost a kickoff taken back, and 11 tackles. You're pretty beat up after that game?
Yeah, I was feeling it after, but getting a win at Swisher Field at home is always worth the pain afterwards. So, great team win, too.
Oh, a nice win there, and you get that award. Was that the first NSIC Player of the Week award? I feel like you have one or two before.
Nope, last year versus St. Cloud I got one.
Okay. So a nice game there too. Which game stands out more to you? This one just because it's fresher, or do you remember that one too?
Well, this game definitely, because it was in front of our home crowd, and especially being a game on ESPN3 brings a lot to our university. You know, getting a lot of achievements and stuff like that is really great in front of a huge crowd at home. We have the best fans in the nation, I'd say. So it was really great to do it in front of them.
So a nice win there against SMSU, and a tough team there that had some yardage against you. Were you know, nice to get the win, but a little bummed about giving up, I think, 470 yards, man, Sam?
Yeah, you know, looking at the stats, you never want to see big stats on the other team, but, you know, coming out with the win, it always makes it easier when you're in the film the next day. You can always critique yourself a little bit more coming off a win.
Well, nice to get a win and not have, like you said, to have some stuff to work on here this week, which you do as you get ready for a trip out to Winona, the lengthy ride out there. And they've had two really good performances. What have you seen so far in this Winona State team in the early going? You have had a chance to look at them much yet?
Just a little bit. You know, they have a really good quarterback. He's big, too. He's got a great arm, too, and their running back's decent. He's quick and fast, so we're going to have our work cut out for us this week, and they're pretty big, too, so another hardcore game.
And that's kind of what you had with SMSU, too. This team really looked like a lot of good-sized guys.
Yeah, they were really big. All the receivers were a lot bigger than me, so I know I had my work cut out for me.
Well, nice performance last week, and we'll see what we do against the Warriors here coming up on Saturday afternoon. Also, you know, as we talk some stuff off the field, of course, your twin brothers on the team too with Zach. What's your favorite twin story between the two of you? Thinking back here to your time at Northern, do you have anything where you got mistaken for one another, or something where you guys had some fun?
I'm pretty sure every meeting Coach Josh gets us confused. Same with Zemlin, because I don't know if he can ever tell us apart unless we have our jerseys on. That's what he always tells us, especially now that we both have short hair. He really can't tell us apart unless we have our jerseys on. You can see the numbers.
Well, I have a hard time too with even the McIlvains. They're not even twins, but you know, now that one has the short hair, one has the long hair, that's helpful. But can you tell the other twins apart pretty easily, being a twin, or?
I think it's a little bit easier. You like when you look at a twin, you can see like certain definitions that one has and the other one doesn't. So I think it's easier being a twin, coming off people not knowing what to expect off twins and like not knowing the difference. I think it's a little bit easier being a twin, see the difference.
So yeah, you got a leg up on us. That's not very fair, but. Looking at Dell Rapids and your time there, and a lot of us know a little bit about it. What's something that maybe not everybody knows about the Dell Rapids?
I don't know. It's a fun town to be. A smaller little town. It's close enough to Sioux Falls where if you're bored in Dells, you can always go to Sioux Falls, catch a movie, or get something to eat. And Sioux Falls is a decent-sized town, so there's always something to do around there if you're bored in Dells.
What's your go-to place if you go to Sioux Falls to go grab a bite?
I don't know. I'm a fan of chicken Alfredo, so I always hit up Johnny Carino's whenever I'm back home. I love their pasta there and their bread.
Good stuff. All right. Well, it sounds good, and good luck out there in Winona this week.
Thank you very much.
There's Channing Barber prepping us for this week's trip to Winona right here on Tracking the Wolves.
I love learning.
I believe in service. I am full of passion. I embody sportsmanship.
I trust in my resourcefulness.
I like balance.
That's why I chose.
I chose Division II.
Welcome back here on Track of the Wolves, focusing on football on this edition of the show, and time to talk it up with one of the offensive players here, running back and senior out of Breckenridge, Minnesota. The debut of a Breckenridge person on the show, apparently. Stephen Erlandson joins us on the show. Thanks for coming on, Stephen.
Thank you.
Well, Stephen, a strong start to the year here. 1-1, could be 2-0, but could be 0-2. You never know how things go. And this wild game we just had, 51-35 win over the Mustangs. Is this one of the more wild games you can remember here at NSU?
Yeah, it was. One of the things we talked about after the game was how weird of a game it was, how just the ups and downs, and our offense had long breaks of not being on the field, and then we were on the field for a while, and it was just a weird game overall.
Now, with that, how do you kind of prep for your time on the field? Because you have, like you said, stretches where the defense is making plays, so then you're kicking off again right away. And right now, I mean, you're kind of, backup running back, 2B, 2A, whatever there with Chalky Kelly. You guys kind of both going back and forth. Do you do something particular to kind of stay in the contest, really?
Just stay on the bike, stay ready. I play a lot of special teams also, so that kind of helps me stay in the game and keep a sweat going and stay warmed up for my roles on offense. So,
and obviously, you got the wrestler build here, wrestling quite a bit in high school and what have you. So I almost expect you to be on the sideline, kind of trying to take down one of your teammates out there. But you haven't done that yet, huh?
Nope, not yet this year, or I guess ever. So we'll try not to.
As long as everybody stays on your good side. And as we're here at the Barnett Center, too, I noticed when they did some of the reno here, you got Doug Newharth over here. I hear you getting razzed about that because I thought he looked like you, too.
Oh, yeah. No, that's kind of my look-alike here. So one of the jokes we make is that's how long I've been at school, that I used to wrestle back in the 70s. And no, I'm kidding. But, yeah, I get a lot of crap from the guys about that.
So maybe one day we're going to come over here. Somebody's got to post it over the name. You'll put your name in.
You never know. You never know, yeah. Good, well, that's all you'd have to do.
Talking to Stephen Erlandson here on the Track of the Wolves, and bio major here in your senior season. Everything going smoothly with biology?
Yep, it is. I'll graduate in December with a bio degree and a psych minor. So, and then I'm hoping to get into grad school somewhere for physical therapy. So, kind of in the application process right now and see how it goes. So.
And I understand you had a field trip here today. What kind of field trip do you get to take for bio?
Well, we were out at the Sand Lake Wildlife Refuge, and we just kind of looked at like the different native grasses and stuff like that. It was kind of interesting, and they showed us how they trap birds and ban them, so it was cool.
It was interesting. I just actually on the drive over here, I happened to see a big turtle in the road that was dead, which I haven't seen turtles around here very often, so that's kind of odd.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen them a whole lot either, so.
Well, you're from Breckenridge, like we mentioned, so I guess, we talked with Channing Barber. His go-to close place, obviously, from Del Rapids is Sioux Falls. Fargo, kind of close for you. Is that where you kind of went for the big town stuff?
Yep, and then shopping and stuff like that, you'd head to Fargo. It's only 35-40 minutes away, so not too bad of a drive.
What's your go-to eating establishment there in Fargo?
Oh, we'd go to Buffalo Wild Wings. We'd drive up for the night on Wednesdays. It's all you can eat, so we'd drive up on Wednesday nights and get Buffalo Wild Wings, so it was good. And
after you go to Shields and ride in the merry-go-round?
Oh, yeah, have to.
Or the carousel, whatever it is. Yeah, there. All right.
Carousel.
Well, Winona State this weekend, going up against them, what do you know about their defense here early on? Have you able to study them much yet?
No, we really dig into them today as far as watching film and kind of evaluating and stuff. So kind of this afternoon we'll get after it and really dig our teeth in. So.
Well, sounds good. Thanks for the time, and have a good week out there, Winona.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Stephen Erlandson here, talking some Northern football as we get prepped for a busy weekend here on Track of the Wolves.
NCAA championships are something special.
Filled with memories we will carry with us for the rest of our lives.
We ask that you cheer hard for your institutions.
Acting responsibly and courteously towards those around you.
In the spirit of sportsmanship, enjoy the game, and let's provide our student athletes, coaches, officials, and fellow fans the respect they deserve.
Welcome back to Track of the Wolves with yours truly, Ben Root. Let's put a big bow on this edition of the show and look at your upcoming schedule for Northern sports. Coming up on Thursday this week, it's your NSIC opener for the Northern volleyball team, and they get to play it at home. It's the University of Mary coming to town at Wachs Arena, and that'll be a 7 o'clock first serve there for the Northern volleyball team, and I'll have coverage of that ball game on ESPN 1420 1071 and with the video there at ESPNaberdeen.com. And in one of the more interesting scheduling deals here for Northern volleyball or any of the Northern sports teams, they actually play at home against UMary on Thursday, and then go the road on Friday all the way up to Minot. So good luck to the ladies up north against that Beavers squad. Also this week on Saturday, Northern football team takes the lengthy trek out to Winona, Minnesota. A couple of 1-1 teams that have had strong starts to the season. Winona nearly knocking off Duluth this past weekend after getting a big win in week 1. And we'll see how it goes for your Northern football team. That's a 1 o'clock kickoff. And again, it's on ESPN 1420, 1071, and ESPNaberdeen.com Saturday if you can't make that trek out to Winona. And also this week, your Northern women's soccer team will continue NSIC play. Coming up on Saturday, it's a 1 o'clock contest at Jerde Field as they bring in Southwest Minnesota State. And then on Sunday, another 1 o'clock start time at Jerde as they go up against the Cougars of the University of Sioux Falls. That's a look ahead at this week's activity for you. If you want to keep up to date on all the latest Northern sports, this is the place to tune into. So join me again next week right here for another edition of Tracking the Wolves. But till then, as always, go Wolves.